Well, you know it's got to be bad if the CBC is covering it. Roxham Road is what I'm talking about. 100,000 illegal migrants have crossed the border from the United States. And of course, there is no such thing as a refugee from the United States. It's one of the safest, freest countries in the world. These are often people who are escaping law enforcement in the United States, either for being a fake refugee applicant in that country, or some of them are actually criminals fleeing justice of another sort to Canada. Justin Trudeau only too happy to receive them. But the news in Radio Canada, the French wing of the CBC today, is even crazier than normal. And the only reason I cite the CBC is because you know it must be bad if they're talking about it. Let me read to you the translated version of their story. U.S. federal agents are said to be driving migrants to Roxham Road. The Canadian police would have been informed of this situation, learned Radio Canada. Let me just read the first sentence. It wouldn't just be American taxi drivers bringing migrants to Roxham Road to cross the Canada-U.S. border. According to information obtained by Radio Canada, that's the French CBC, American customs agents would also be involved in such transport. Some even reportedly made a business out of it, off duty, picking up these people in Plattsburgh, New York. It is in this city, located about 30 minutes from the border in Roxham Road, that most of these migrants arrive by means of a regular bus line. It's been known for a few months, told one of our sources. Incredibly, the Americans are shipping their illegal migrants to us, and Trudeau only too happy to receive them. Joining us now via Skype from La Belle Province of Quebec is our friend Alexa Lavoie. Alexa, great to see you. I love the fact that you have covered Roxham Road many times and you're able to report both in English and in French. Tell me more about this story. Do you share my view that if the CBC is covering this, it's probably because it's really, really bad?
Yeah, it is bad. And if they are reporting on it, it's because they cannot close their eyes on it. They have no choice to tell it. And that means that is really, really a bad news.
Yeah. Well, what do we know about this? Because, of course, there have always been traffickers, if you want to use that word. Sometimes they're buses, sometimes they're just taxi drivers who just know where to go. I mean, if you've never been to Roxham Road, you might find it hard to get to, but, these taxi drivers know it well. They charge people, I don't know, $100 a pop. They're not making millions, but if you've had 100,000 people go through, this is a large industry. And there are some serious organized traffickers behind this because they know that the Canadians will simply take them. Who really is behind this latest wave? Is this a political decision by, I don't know, the mayor of New York City or the governor of New York or Joe Biden himself? All of them are Democrats.
But in the same time, Justin Trudeau is not doing anything to solve the problem here in Canada. And we know that the U.S. have already some problem too, and in the south border. So probably they just say, why not shipping them to Canada? They can take more to see how many we receive. They can probably take some of us. But the thing is, what we know so far, we know that some van and bus is starting from Florida in the south, bringing them up. We know that some people arrive by flight, some people arrive by private van, some people take some taxi from not only Plattsburgh but in New York directly to Roxham Road. We know that now the taxi is advertising it. Now we know that New York City mayor say that is tax funded the bus ticket to the migrant to go on the north. And now we heard that same the federal agent is driving them to our border. So when we look at it, every single person it's involved to bring us more migrants to cross illegally. But I want to show to read a part of the article. Anyone is prohibited from organizing or encouraging to entry of one of more people into Canada. But all these people are guilty to do so.
That's a great point. You have lawmakers or law enforcers becoming law breakers. It's so weird they're doing this. And I really have to think, Alexa, that they're doing this with the approval, if not the direction, of the authority. Like the idea that you would have border guards on the U.S. side, that you have police on the U.S. side engage in human trafficking like this is so shocking. And it's, I don't know. I mean, I suppose it could just be corruption. There is such a thing as corrupt cops on the take or whatever. But I would have to think this is being done with the approval of the big bosses. And if you say that there is tax money being used to take buses all the way from Florida to Canada, that's crazy. But like you say, where's Trudeau? Let me ask you this. This is getting some play in Quebec, en français, on Radio Canada. Have any spokesman for the Canadian federal government? Because this isn't, of course, the problem is faced by the cities and by the province, but the responsibility for the border lies clearly with the federal government. Has Justin Trudeau or any other cabinet minister or federal MP addressed this issue yet? Because this has got to be a huge story.
But Mr. Legault have already said that we need to close Roxham Road. And afterwards, he came back after having a meeting with Justin Trudeau, saying that they will just probably deport the migrant to other provinces instead of closing it. And now we have all these different leaders of party, as the leader of Parti Québécois, Paul Saint-Pierre Plamondon, who say that, who put a new project of law at the National Assembly saying that they want to use the police of Quebec to arrest the immigrant. But we have already the RCMP who do the same job. What they will do more like the police of Quebec, arresting them and bringing them to immigration, and after that, driving them to hotel room. It would be the same thing, because the federal need to act, but the federal doesn't want to, and it seems like they will not touch Roxham Road until like someone else is elected at the for being a leader of this country.
Yeah, it's incredible because, of course, the police literally meet these border crossers. Like and you've been there, and some of our other reporters have been there. The very first people who meet these border crossers are the police. It's not like the police don't know about this. The police have set up what used to be temporary structures, permanent structures. They immediately, they literally help these people bring their luggage over that little ditch. So the idea of the police are not the problem. The police are instructed to do the paperwork and then let these people go.
So in 2017-18, it was just tent. And now it's a big infrastructure being built there. And I would say when these migrants cross into Canada, they are not like aggressively arrested. They have been bring and just tell them like, show us your passport, bring your belonging with you, and please make sure your money, your paper money is come with your passport. And now on the door, what is the most outrageous is they have now a paper. I wasn't there before, in all language to tell the migrant what to do when they arrive.
I find this incredible, and it'll be interesting to see if the federal opposition leader, Pierre Poilievre, remarks on it. They have said they are against Roxham Road being an open wound like that, but Pierre Poilievre has not spoken out against Trudeau's mass immigration policy in general. Has Poilievre talked about this latest news, or is it too fresh for him to have commented on yet?
I didn't see anything in the news from Pierre Poilievre comment.
Well, we'll keep our eyes on that. And of course, you're based in Quebec, I think, and you've been to the Roxham Road before. I think it sounds like a fascinating thing. And let's make sure we keep covering it, because although the CBC has done a good job here, I know that they will be doing their best to minimize this and to keep that flow of illegal migrants going. Alexa, keep up the great work in Quebec. That was an excerpt from the Ezra Levant show. I'm Ezra Levant. Every weekday, I do a monologue about the topic of the day. Then I interview a fascinating guest, either in studio or via Skype. And then I read your mail, whether it's fan mail or hate mail, which is sometimes even more interesting. This is on our premium service, though, called Rebel News Plus. Go to rebelnewsplus.com. It's $8 a month or less if you buy a whole year in advance. You get my show every weeknight, plus Sheila Gunn Reid's show every week. It's called The Gun Show. It's pretty amazing. You know, we rely on you because we do not take a dime from the government. In Canada, that makes us almost unique. So please help us out and help yourself to some great journalism at rebelnewsplus.com.